Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWS. NFL Week 7 is here, kicking off with Thursday Night Football. We had a green Week 6, plus 0.84 units it was, which means Week 5 is our only losing week of the season. If Jordan Love didn't throw that interception to the Raiders on Monday Night Football, man. But quit living in the past. We're moving on to Week 7, Thursday Night Football. Like I said, we got Jags at Saints. Line is currently sitting at New Orleans -1, which was down from 3, which was then up. This line's been all over the place. Total sitting at 39.5. Let's do it.
Welcome to the SWS. The SWS. SWS. Hey, get the SWS.
So I guess we got to start with injuries because it's Thursday Night Football, so obviously both teams are going to be sitting out a bunch of players. Quick update. So I recorded this video, and then, of course, right after I finished recording, they update the injury reports for the day. So here are the updated injury reports for the Saints offense. Chris Olave looks like he's going to play. They will be missing all three of those offensive linemen, though, both tackles and then Andres Pete as well. Some good news would be Jamal Williams may be active at running back, but not sure how much of an impact that'll really have because Kamara and Kendre Miller are both healthy and active, so I don't know how many touches he would even get if he does play. On defense, the Saints have three huge question marks: Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, all listed as questionable. Another update, my bad, I know this is annoying, but it looks like Cameron Jordan is going to play. He participated in a full practice on Wednesday, and he's been taken off the injury report. Demario Davis still listed as questionable. He hasn't practiced at all, so I would say it looks like he's probably not going to play. And Tyrann Mathieu did participate in a light practice, so I would imagine he's a game-time decision. I mean, with the exception of Marshawn Lattimore, that's the three most important players on that Saints defense. But don't worry, it gets even better because now we're going to look at the Jacksonville offense. Trevor Lawrence may not even play. Not like that's important. He's only the quarterback. He did participate in a light practice on Tuesday. Again, who knows? Both guards may not play for Jacksonville. Last update, I promise this is the last one. So Zay Jones officially ruled out. He's not playing. So is Walker Little. So the Jags are going to be without Zay Jones and their left guard. Trevor Lawrence participated in 2 light practices in a row. So I imagine he's a game time decision. And so is Brandon Scherf, the right guard. He did not practice Monday or Tuesday, but he participated in a light practice on Wednesday. So he's still got a shot at playing. A positive note would be the Jags defense is kind of healthy. They might be missing a corner. That's it. But honestly, I don't really know how to go about handicapping this game. I'd say 7 of the 10 most important players in this game are questionable. But whatever, we'll do the best we can. So the Jags offensively are starting to look more like themselves recently. Through 3 games, Trevor Lawrence had 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and an 84.5 passer rating. That was through the first 3 games. In the last 3, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a passer rating over 100. So Jacksonville's offense seems to be trending in the right direction. The Saints' lack of a pass rush is going to be huge in this matchup because, as we know, Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys that has night and day splits when pressured versus when he has a clean pocket. Last season, Trevor Lawrence had the 4th highest PFF passer grade and 7th highest passer rating when given a clean pocket. When pressured, those numbers dropped to 26th and 18th. New Orleans defense has been excellent against the pass this season, and I was wrong. I had Houston as one of my top bets last week. Well, obviously, the bet won. But the reason was I thought C.J. Stroud and the Texans passing attack was going to piece up the Saints defense because they hadn't seen a legitimate quarterback or passing attack the whole season. That's not what happened. C.J. Stroud had his worst game as an NFL starter so far. But the Saints pass rush just still isn't there. Just 24th in adjusted sack rate, 24th in pressure rate, and they run a ton of man coverage. So if Trevor Lawrence plays and all those receiving weapons have time to develop routes and beat their man coverage, he should move the ball and score points in this game. And then you add on the fact that Cam Jordan isn't playing as well, I think it's a good spot for Trevor Lawrence. As far as running the ball, the Jags have been pretty average. Offensive line is not getting a ton of push in the run game, just 27th in adjusted line yards, but the Jags are still 14th in rushing DVOA. Travis Etienne made some plays on the ground in London against the Bills a couple weeks back, so maybe the Jags run game's waking up a little. Now, the Saints defensively against the run haven't been as good as you think. They're 13th in DVOA, 11th in adjusted line yards, 14th in yards per carry allowed. So they're good, but not elite. And I have the same question about the Saints run defense that I had about the Saints pass defense last week. Who have they played? Look at the Saints opponents this season and their rushing DVOA. The best rushing attack they've seen this year is Tennessee, who's sitting at 15th. And we know the Titans haven't really been able to run the ball. I mean, other than that, Carolina 26th, Green Bay 27th, Tampa Bay 28th, New England 23rd, Houston 29th. They played all the worst rushing attacks in the NFL. The Jags are 14th. So analytically, the Jags are going to be the best rushing attack New Orleans seen this whole season. So again, I like this matchup for the Jacksonville offense, but I mean, obviously we don't know who's playing. It's really tough to make that declaration, but assuming everyone's on the field, I like the matchup for the Jags offense. Now, where the Saints have the advantage on this side of the ball would be situational defense. Saints defense is 3rd and 8th in third down conversions and red zone percentage. Jacksonville offense, 24th and 20th. So pretty strong edge for the Saints there. It honestly depends on how much you value those numbers. I mean, some people love them. Third down percentage, red zone rate. Some people love those numbers. Some people don't even look at them. Now, on the other side of the ball, the Jags defense is struggling with the same thing the Saints defense is struggling with. I mean, they can't pressure the quarterback. Jags are 28th in adjusted sack rate, 28th in pressure rate on the season. One thing I will say about the Jags pass defense, though, they seem to be stepping up a bit recently. Through their first 3 weeks, the Jags were 24th in yards per pass attempt allowed, 22nd in completion percentage allowed, and 22nd in opponent passer rating. That was through the first 3 weeks. In the last 3 weeks, those ranks jumped to 14th, 14th, and 7th, and they also lead the NFL in interceptions with 6th in that time span, the last 3 weeks. And I really don't think Jacksonville has much to be worried about when it comes to the Saints offense. I mean, passing on the season, the Saints are just 19th in DVOA, 21st in passer rating, 24th in yards per attempt. Derek Carr hasn't been absolutely terrible as a Saint, but he definitely hasn't been good. Amongst the 34 qualified quarterbacks this season, Derek Carr is 25th in yards per attempt, 24th in PFF passer grade, 28th in adjusted completion percentage, 27th in pressure to sack rate, 20th in passer rating. So those are definitely not the numbers the Saints had in mind when they brought this guy in here. Now, you would think against a Jags defense that can't get pressure on the quarterback that this would be a prime spot for Derek Carr to have a big game. But these numbers say the exact opposite. Check this out. When given a clean pocket amongst the 35 qualified quarterbacks, Derek Carr is 32nd in yards per attempt, 29th in PFF passer grade, 32nd in adjusted completion percentage, and 22nd in passer rating. Derek Carr's been terrible from a clean pocket, one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL this season when given a clean pocket. And to make matters even worse for Derek Carr, Jacksonville runs a lot of zone coverage. 60.9% of the Jags' defensive snaps this year have been in zone coverage. Derek Carr has decent numbers against man coverage, 13th and 14th in passer rating and net yards per attempt, but against zone, 28th and 28th in those two categories. As far as defending the run goes, this is where Jacksonville shines defensively. The Jags defense was elite against the run last year, and they're off to the same kind of start this year. On the season, they're 6th in run defense DVOA, 3rd in adjusted line yards, and 4th in yards per carry allowed to running backs. And the Saints' run game really hasn't done much at all. I mean, obviously, we expect it to be better moving forward with Kamara active, but they really haven't seen any improvement since he's rejoined the team. Kamara's averaging just 3.8 yards per carry and just 3.7 yards per reception. Before we get to the game bets, I got an Underdog fantasy pick'em here. Just a 2-pick, pays out 3 times if it hits. Travis Etienne higher than 63.5 rushing yards. Alvin Kamara lower than 50.5 rushing yards. If you don't have an Underdog fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted on this map. So if you're in one of these states, head over to Underdog Fantasy, the website, or you can download the app. Make sure you use the promo code BET, B-E-T. That'll get you a $100 deposit bonus. Deposit $100, and they will give you a free $100 to play with. I really don't know what to do with this game. I mean, Jacksonville's the play. Jacksonville got red hot when they went to London last year, came back, and were one of the hotter teams in the NFL. Looks like the same thing's about to happen this year, but all these injuries and a weird short week, I really don't know. So I'll say Jacksonville plus 1.5, but full disclosure, I won't be placing a bet on this one until closer to kickoff. I need to see who's playing. I want to see how the line reacts to the injury announcements when we find out who's playing and who's not. So I can tell you I definitely will not be betting the Saints, but if Lawrence isn't playing, I'm going to need a chunk of points. I'm not taking Jacksonville plus 1.5 if Lawrence isn't playing, so I'll say Jacksonville plus 1.5 and lean under, but I'll post my final bets on the website around 5 p.m. If you want the final bets, parlays of the day, or you want to join the Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com if you're interested in that. NFL Week 7, I wish it was a more exciting start, but all these injuries, I'm more interested in the FBS games, to be honest. So we'll see what we can find. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.